information platform.
Okay, so it says it's recording. Let me make sure that I can screen share and still record. Yeah, it looks like I'm recording still.
Yep.
Y'all see the screen, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll navigate it this way. Obviously, when you're doing it in the home, you're going to have it on full play mode, right? Like that. I guess we can just record. Is it still recording? Yeah, still recording. So again, segue, setting this up, Ginny and Chris, we've been doing this 32 years. We've learned a lot of things. We've succeeded at a lot of things, and we've had some failures along the way. Really what we're going to do next is really try and bring that 32 years of experience to you, and leverage it for your benefit. Quite honestly, whether you decide to go with us or not, our goal is to prepare you and equip you with the education and information you need to put you in the best possible decision to make the best decision for or best possible position to make the best decision for you, your home, and your money. So we're going to do that now. After all these years of meeting with folks, we've really found that there are 6 key factors to success, and not for us, but for you as a prospective client. And really, more importantly, as a prospective client of the home improvement project, not us necessarily. So those 6 things that we found over our years doing this. First of all, you have to be able to select a company that you feel is dependable. So that's the first thing. Expert installation. Some people talk about it and skim over it, which you really have to wonder, what is the quality of that installation that I'm going to get. So you have to be confident in the level of installation that you're going to receive. Because honestly, it doesn't matter if the window's $300 or $3,000. If it's installed wrong, it's going to be completely worthless. The next thing is the warranty. So what are the terms of that warranty? What are the exclusions? What is verbiage like lifetime? What does that really mean? So we'll talk about that. Also, who performs the service, right? Who performs the warranty? When you need something, who is it that's going to be servicing your needs? The next one is return on investment. Some people honestly love this. Other people couldn't care less about it. So we're going to cover that in a couple slides, about 30 seconds, give you some good, really digestible information on this. How you use that or how you value or view that is entirely up to you. We'll talk about our product offering. So we have, 3-4 very specific products that all perform differently, have unique price points. So my job is to basically introduce you to those products. And then guess what? The decision rests on you to pick the one that you feel is best suited for you, your home, the particular situation that we have here. And then last but not least, and certainly not least important to probably anybody we meet with, is, what is the cost of this? So affordability. And then what options do we have in terms of paying for it or funding the project? So we'll cover that and clear all that up with as much detail as you want before we're done here today. So let me ask you, in your opinion, and I'll ask you independently, Ginny, Chris, if you had to pick the top 3 of these 6, what would those be? And again, y'all don't have to have the same answers. That's why I'm asking you independently, because I want to make sure that both of you get the information that's most important to you. So what would you say in your opinion are the top 3?
I'd say my first one is probably going to be warranty, and then the service and what that all entails.
Okay.
My second would be, that it's a dependable company, because, the warranty doesn't mean much if it's not a company that's going to be, dependent upon and going to be around for a while. And then, expert installation is a big one for me as well, because, the warranty is great and all, but I'd rather it just be done the right way and, therefore be less likely to, have my life impacted later on.
Yeah.
So if I heard you right, warranty, service, did you say installation?
warranty, service, dependable company, and expert installation.
Dependable company was number 2. Okay, great. So I'm writing these down. And then install. Okay, and Ginny, what would you say?
Really kind of focused on the affordability of it. If I just really want to make sure I can pay it. So that's a big one for me. And then along with Chris, I want that warranty. That's really important, something that's going to last me a long time. And then that installation, we want to make sure that things are installed right and that they're going to be done right. So those are my 3.
Okay, good. So yeah, there's some alignment there, but some different. So we want to make sure that we touch on those equally. So like I said, each of y'all can have your questions, that are most important to you answered. So great. That'll help focus our time today and help me provide you with, the information that's most important to you. So really, as we dive into this here, the perception, the industry, the way this industry works, the way that people choose to intake the information that they're going to intake has changed significantly. So the whole, I have to get 3 quotes, that's technology that's from, really from the 70s. It came from more of the industrial space and procurement, as companies were getting information on services, on materials, that's really where this was born. It really wasn't born in the home improvement industry. So that technology is somehow, floated around, and it's still with us in some capacity today. The problem is that times have changed, right? Everything about how we do what we do has changed. I mean, for goodness sakes, we get our groceries online now, I mean, you get most of what you need through Amazon, and it's here in 2 days, and you don't have to leave the house. So things have changed, and the advancement of technology is largely responsible for that. The other thing that really contributes to that fact is that we have found as a consumer, as people, as neighbors, whatever it may be, we have found, and we've learned, grown to trust that there is a significant value in leveraging the opinions and the experiences of others. Think about that. If it wasn't for that, there would be no Amazon, right? There would be no 5-star rating or 4-star rating or 3-star rating. There would be no Nextdoor. Those 2 things that are a large part of our lives, Google, for goodness sakes, those things where we go to get information first, they wouldn't even exist if this weren't true. So we have found that there's a significant shift that's happened in this industry where people are moving away from the 3 quotes, because let's face it, times of a premium right now, right? We got busy lives, we got crazy lives, we got lives that, quite honestly, let's be honest, none of us have lived before. We've never gone through this type of pandemic. For most of us, we're trying to figure this stuff out as we go. Our margin has decreased, because we're working from home. So really we feel kind of like we're more, committed to our work than ever before, because it's in our office, in our home, right? But this technology that have to get through, we're seeing less and less people that adopt to this, because quite honestly, it's all centered around price. So that technology tells us, okay, well, I got to get my 3 quotes, and then, well, what do I do next? Well, in a couple things I can choose to do. I can accept the lowest bid because I want to be smart with my money, or I'm going to do, and this is 1980s thinking here, I'm going to throw out the high one, going to throw out the low one, I'm going to take the one right in the middle. Problem is either way you go with that, your decision is being driven solely by price, as opposed to looking on Nextdoor, as opposed to looking on Google, where it's not just going to be, I paid this, use these guys, or I paid this, don't use these guys, they were too expensive. You're going to find out why. You're going to find out people that did $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 projects and what their experience was with that particular company. That's value. That's making a savvy decision. It's not just, hey, let me get 3 quotes and let's call this thing a day here. So I just wanted to share that with you, because before we jump into this, because it's significant. And again, I've personally been doing this 11 years. We've been doing this as a company 32 years. And I'll tell you, the landscape in which we operate every day, meaning going into clients and prospective clients' homes, it's changed drastically. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now, we've been doing this, as I mentioned, 32 years. Scott Barr is our owner. We call him our steward, just basically based on the beliefs that we have and how we believe things should be run. If he were sitting here right now, he would tell you he doesn't have a passion for the home improvement industry. What he has a passion for is connecting ideas and good people that share his passion for those ideas. So really how the company came about, Scott Barr was a project manager for Southwest Remodelers, which is who we were prior to 1989. And he saw a bunch of the craziness that was going on in this industry, people being lied to, people being, cheated and stolen from, literally by the companies that they trusted to do work for him. So he got an investor together and he said, you know what, we're going to forget all this funny business. He bought the company. He got rid of everything that we were doing that really made us a jack of all trades and master of none. We were doing roofs and gutters and baths and kitchens and, siding and windows and doors. And we were doing really everything. And the problem was we weren't exceptional at anything. So when when he bought the company, his first order of business was saying, you know what, his idea, his vision was we're going to do three things. And since that time, we've added a fourth in concrete coating. But the three things that we're going to, make the foundation of the company are going to be windows, siding, and doors. And we're going to do those three things better than anybody else in South Texas. So that was his grand idea, and that was his vision. Now all he had to do was find the people that shared that and could carry that out. So he started bringing really high integrity, professional, people that, really got up in the morning. They picked their head up off the pillow with a sense of, I want to do something different for people today. And he started bringing those people into the fold of the organization throughout every area, every department. And he started bringing great people that could help him carry out this vision that he had come up with. And that's really how we've survived today is amazing people carrying out a singular vision and a laser focused vision of taking better care of people that need home improvement projects done than any other company in the industry. And quite honestly, that's how we've sustained through 32 years. And quite honestly, 32 turbulent, very turbulent, tumultuous years of swings in the home market, in the housing market, in the economy. It's really that sustained us through these 32 years. So let me ask you, is that something that's important to you? Is that something that you value as far as kind of where we come from and who we are today? So just some sort of question there. You guys don't need to answer it. Now, in those 32 years, we've learned four things. Sounds a little ridiculous, but those four things are that important. We call them our 4 C's, and you'll see them right there. It's communication. So our first commitment to you is that we're going to communicate accurately and often throughout the entire process. Second thing is cleanliness. Let's face it, whether we're dealing with 2 windows or 25 windows, there's dust, there's debris, and all that stuff, unfortunately, is on the job site, which is your house. So our commitment is to clean that up and leave your home as clean as when we got there, when we first got there before the project started, if not cleaner. If it's a multi-day project, we promise to do that not just at the end of the project, but at the end of every day. We're going to make sure your house is clean and you're satisfied with its safety, meaning there's not things laying around or, cords or hoses, pressure hoses from like a compressor that we use for nailing and fastening, that it's going to be safe. It's going to be clean at the end of every day. Compassion is our third C. What that means to us is that basically we're going to treat you differently and maybe like you'd hoped, but not expected throughout the entire process. That means when we get a deposit check from one of our clients, you become our biggest priority. So our job is to communicate with you, is to make sure we never lose touch, or really create that space where your mind's allowed to wander and you start thinking about all the negative things in this industry. Oh my gosh, did they forget about me? Did they go out of business? Did they just take my money and, you know, they're not going to provide me with the services they promised? And that's, let's face it, as consumers in this home improvement industry, that's the first place our mind goes because of the horror stories we've heard. And the last craftsmanship, which the last C is craftsmanship, and that's something that we don't flex on. It's a non-negotiable. So you'll hear, and we'll talk about it in just a second here, you'll hear stories of our installers that have been with us 13, 12, 11 years. Some of our siding crews have been with us 16 years. So that's very important to us, is the fact that when we get a new client, we're not just going to send anybody out out to their home to accomplish the work. We have people we have relationships that have been groomed over decades in some cases, where we have relationship with people that work for us and work with our clients and are working with our clients' kids now. And that means something to us. So that is one of the promises that we make to you, regardless of, whether you're saying, hey, Ryan, I want to replace this one window, or we're looking at 40, 50, 60 windows. We're going to execute on these 4 C's to an exceptional degree. Now, over here to the left, you see our promise. These are all things that our steward, Scott Barr, is committing to you as a potential client of Southwest Exteriors. I won't read them all, but you can look over them. My favorite here, again, because I've been in this industry a while to know that we're not dealing with perfect science here. So my favorite is this promise that we make to every one of our clients. It says, we strive to resolve any issue that may arise in such a way that you only remember how well it was resolved. I have a lot of relationships with my clients they're very dear to me. People I've known for a better part of, over 10 years. So it's important to me when I make a promise to somebody that we're going to do this, that, or the other thing, that those actually happen. And when they don't go perfectly, the confidence that I have in knowing that that's one of our key promises, that problem will be resolved to the extent that they only remember the solution and how well it was handled, not the problem. So that's significant to me. Let me ask you, in your opinion, can you see how these things, or what kind of impact these 4 C's, as well as the promise, what that might have on your experience as a client of ours? Let them answer, let them give you some feedback, let them ask any questions that they might have, and then we're ready to move on. So, this is a job interview of sorts, and, I'd be short-sighted not to realize that. So what I'm going to do next is just share a little bit about our resume. I know that you're considering companies to do this work for you. And this is our attempt to let you know a little bit about who it is that you're talking to. So I know we're not talking about James Hardy, but it does speak to the consistency across all of our scopes of work. So with James Hardy, the last 4 years running, we have been named one of the top 10 contractors in the entire country. And that's not just based on volume. That's based on homeowner satisfaction scores. That's based on volume. That's based on quality control. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. It's not just who did the most projects. With Angie's List, kind of more of a regional or an immediate region recognition. We've been given the Super Service Award from 2007 all the way up to last year, 2020. The Remodeling Magazine, that expands a little bit. That's a national recognition. So every year, Remodeling Magazine puts out a list of the top 500 contractors in the country. We've been on that list since the early 90s. The last 4 years, we've been named the #1 remodeler in San Antonio, according to this national publication. And the last one I'll share with you is Guild Quality. This is probably most significant to me because, again, as I mentioned, I have quite a few clients because I've been doing this 11 years. So it's important to me, the end result of the promises that I make to people. Now, over the years and the 22,000 plus clients that we've had, we have about an 88% response rate to these surveys, which, if you know anything about surveying, that's way off the charts compared to average. So you take that 88% response rate, 98.7% of our clients that have responded to these surveys, 22,000 strong, have given us an approval rating and said that they've been so happy with the work that they would gladly refer us to their closest friends and family. It's the biggest compliment that we could receive, is them being willing to say, hey, you got to use this company because of the experience they provided for us. Because of that rating, we've been given the Guildmaster with Distinction Award for 13 years in a row. And what that means basically is that we are functioning in the top 3% of all companies, all contractors in the entire country, based on that 98.7% approval rating. So that's earned us that Guildmaster with Distinction Award, like I said, for the last 13 years in a row. And not only in the top 3%, but we've been named as one of the top 10 remodeling firms in the entire country, based on those, nothing but those homeowner satisfaction scores for the last 5 years. So let me ask you, I mean, based on that, what do you think your chances are of falling into that 98.7% approval rating that we've gotten from our clients? How do you feel about our wherewithal, our capabilities, to make sure that you're in that 98.7%? So I do a little check-in, a little kind of tie-down question with them. So the next thing we're going to look at here is, our reviews. We talked about that, as far as the shift in the industry, moving from, okay, I got to get 3 people to come out to my home and give it their best shot and tell me, put their best foot forward and tell me what they think about themselves. Here, you don't have to do that anymore. Every one of these, Facebook, Guild Quality, Google, Yelp, Home Advisor, House, every one of those, again, like we talked about, exists solely because we want to know other people's experiences, because we value those so much, to such a high degree. So any one of these we can look at. You said I think when I first asked you how you heard about us, you said Google. So let's go take a look at that. And I think it's stopping. It's recording, but I don't think it's doing the screen share. So I'm not going to do this because it's really jacking things up. But this is where you guys know how to do this. This is where we go to the Google slide, confirm, is this what you saw when you Googled us, before you even called us? 600 and whatever we're at, 40 something reviews, 4.9 stars. Is that consistent with the information that you gathered on your own? Okay, great. Well, I'm going to share one other. I won't share all of these unless they heard us through Facebook, unless they heard about us through Home Advice, whatever. Go to the source of where they heard us, heard about us from. But I usually take people to Guild Quality. I'm not going to click on it because it's going to jack up the whole screen share and recording deal. I talk about the Guild Quality. I talk about the number of reviews and the 5-star rating that we have overall there. And then I go down to those green bar graphs where it's communication, cleanliness, punctuality, all that stuff. And I talk about that. And then I scroll through all the surveys on Guild Quality that are uploaded real time. Usually I think I talk about it on the other slide, but you can do it here too. The significant thing about Guild Quality is that there's a ton of transparency in their system, because those reviews go from our homeowners, our clients, directly to Guild Quality before they even come to us. And once they get to Guild Quality, before they come to our door, they're processed and disseminated to the web. So there is no way for us to manipulate, manufacture, fabricate the reviews, because Guild Quality controls that process so well. So they're basically taking all that information, putting it into really easy to understand and easy to use reports for us, and they're throwing it back out to the web for everybody to see. So, oh no, what are you doing now? Okay. Now things are all acting funky because I went outside the thing. So the next thing we're gonna do is just take a look at some of the infrastructure that we have in place to help our clients have an exceptional experience with us. Now, first, so every one of these people that you see here in front of you, all those happy, shiny faces, every one of those is going to touch your project before it actually gets completed. And I'll share with you the people that you'll have the most contact with, but every one of these people are responsible for making sure that you have an exceptional experience with Southwest Exteriors. Now, Michelle Hodgkiss, she's the first point of contact for every one of our clients. She's responsible for timelines for vendors. She's responsible for communicating those timelines, and she's responsible for setting up our clients with their installation dates, no matter what the project is. So you'll have heavy communication with her. Her title with us is Client Experience Coordinator. Go figure. She's been with us for about 7 years now. Actually, I think it's 8 years. The next person you'll have come in contact with is Jim Soblowski. He has been with the company for 19 years. He is our installation leader, and he will be the one that comes out and actually performs a technical measure on the windows. That's where we measure every single window 8 different ways to make sure that it's fabricated to the right specs and we got the right window going into the right opening. So he'll actually come out to your home. Lindsay is kind of his right-hand lady. She's been with us for 7 years. And her job is to take all that crazy data and make sure that it gets inputted correctly and it gets sent to the right vendor. So you won't have any contact with her per se, but she is the one that's clicking keys and doing all the stuff in the background to make sure everything is possible with your order. So it's a significant, super important role as far as making sure that your project gets executed correctly and the proper window sizes get entered properly. And the last person is Josh. Josh has been with us for 9 years. He is your actual project manager. So you can see his picture was actually taken where he spends most of his time, which is in the car driving to the next client's home. So all these people are in place. Like I said, all these people will touch your project. All these people have an equal role and responsibility. And let's face it, a passion for making sure that every single one of our clients has an exceptional experience. So let me ask you, based on all that, based on a resume that we looked at, do you believe that you can trust Southwest Exteriors to provide you with an exceptional experience? Do you believe that we have the capability, the infrastructure, the processes to make sure that you have a fantastic experience with us? So there's our commitment to trust, right? Next thing we're going to do, and I do this a little differently because I made this slide, but you can figure out how to customize it to have the impact you want it to have. But I tell folks, you know what, this is probably the slide I'm most proud of because there's nobody else. I mean, you could adopt that 3-quote philosophy. You could adopt the 6 or 7, 8 quote philosophy, like very infrequently we see some clients do. But there's going to be no company that you can talk to that's going to be able to tell you who's going to be installing your windows. There's nobody, because they don't know 6, 8 weeks, 13 weeks, 15 weeks, whatever the lead time is. There's no company that knows who's going to be working for them when that time comes. With us, we can tell you that. So I can share with you, sure as we're all sitting here right now, I can share with you who is potentially going to be coming out to your home to install the windows. And I say potentially because we don't know what crew you're going to get, your project is going to be assigned to, but I can tell you it's going to be one of these people. So Greg and Kyle, they've been with us for 11 years. Maria, and we don't have a picture of him, but her number one crew is Albert. And Albert is phenomenal. I've seen Albert do some ridiculous, really high degree of difficulty work, for us. So if there's any of those projects with high degree of difficulty, or say we have to maybe reframe an entire wall because of rot or termites or whatever, Albert's generally the one that we assign that project to. So Maria and Albert, they've been with us for going on 8 years. And then we have Kevin and Steve, who have been with us for 13 years. So again, these are people that make their living, their livelihood, they provide for their families by working for Southwest Exteriors. We take care of them. We treat them well. We treat them better than what the industry says you should treat installers in terms of how frequently we pay them, what we pay them. Our goal is to keep them happy so they stay here. And more importantly, when they show up knocking on your front door for installation day, they're proud to be working for the company they work for and representing the company that they do. It comes through in the quality of work. It comes through in how they interact with you, how they treat you. It comes through in their integrity, their professionalism. And we believe those are key things that our clients deserve to feel in doing a project with us. So you have any questions about that or their qualifications or experience level? So just a little check in there. So what we're going to do next is we're going to kind of take a little video tour, a visual tour of what installation day is going to look like. That's quite honestly one of the places where our clients have a lot of anxiety is like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? What's going to be damaged? What's going to be ruined? So we're going to, like I said, take you on a little picture tour here of what installation day is going to look like. So we're going to tarp off the areas in front of the windows in which we're working. We're going to cover up your personal effects, as you can see down there. And again, remember one of those C's we talked about was cleanliness, right? Well, clearly this window isn't replaced, right? There's a big gaping hole there. But Greg is already vacuuming, the opening. He's already vacuuming the space, making sure it's clean, making sure there's no debris. So when we put that window in, we're not trapping a bunch of dirt and dust inside the home. Next thing we're going to do is, this is a big question that we receive a lot of times is, oh my gosh, there are 6 people, 12 people inside the house. How many people are we going to have, running inside our house? So generally you can see right here is our crews are 2 or 3 people. You're going to have one guy inside the house and one guy outside the house as a general rule. Now, of course, as windows get bigger and more complicated and they get heavier, that could change. We could have 2 people inside and 2 people outside. But generally, 1 or 2 people inside is going to be the maximum. We set the windows, you can see being done right there, through the window, the main frame of the window, into the jack stud of your house. And we only do that after we make sure that that window is plumb level and square. So that's why we need somebody outside is holding that window after we shim it and set it. We got to make sure the thing doesn't fall out of the wall. So as we're screwing it in, we have the other guy outside bracing that window to make sure that it stays plumb level and square while we set it. Once we do that, we can actually caulk and seal the inside. As you can see there, and these guys are magicians with caulk. I hate caulking, it's a mess. I always end up wasting more caulk than I probably get on whatever I'm caulking. But these guys, it's all they do. They're professionals, they're experts at not only installing the windows, but the finer details inside your home, which is putting down that caulk bead to make the transition between the window and the wall. You can see up in the third area, and I'll have to show you this separately. We might be able to do that real quick, but I talk about in the upper right-hand picture, I talk about our proprietary 3-seal system to the exterior. And I use my Apple pen with a red ink to actually draw on this picture. You can ask anybody on the team because they hate it because sometimes I leave the drawings in there. So there's a bunch of scribble scrabble on the pictures and I hear about that weekly. But so that's my testimony to, yes, I'm actually doing what I say I'm doing. But I talk about in this upper picture, I said, hey, Chris, Jeannie, we actually follow a very proprietary, very regimented, very strict 3-seal system to the exterior of every single window we install. So the first thing I talk about is you see on the left side of the window between the wall and the window, there's like this foam. So we use a low warp elastomeric foam around all 4 sides of your window. And I mark that all the way down the left side of the window. I put a 1 and I circle it. The next thing we do is we use a custom trim, snap trim, that's color coded to the window so it matches exactly. It's the same material as the window. And we use that to cover the foam to protect it, to make sure that it's not exposed to the elements so it lasts longer. The foam's job is to provide a weather seal, right? A really airtight, watertight seal between the wall substrate, whatever you have, whether it's brick, rock, stone, siding, whatever. The purpose of that second seal, which is the snap trim, is to protect the foam. The third thing we do is we seal that snap trim to the window and to the wall with a 60-year rated caulk. So those are the 3 seals. And by now they can see 1 circled, 2 circled, and 3 circled with drawings indicating what each one of those seals is as I'm marking it up on my iPad. Then when we leave, we take everything with us. We don't throw it in your backyard. We don't throw it in your garage. We don't even use your trash can. We take everything with us. We recycle what we can recycle. We throw away what we can't. So any questions about that installation process? I know you both mentioned installation. So I want to make sure that we, have a good understanding. We've answered all your questions as far as installation goes. So again, answer any questions that they may have with installation, get into some good dialogue there. People are usually impressed. And usually, honestly, if they've had other people out, oh my gosh, nobody shared that much information with us. That really is helpful. Thank you so much. Next thing we're going to do is talk about warranties. Again, both of you, I'm looking back over my notes here. Both of y'all, Chris was your number 1 thing. Excuse me, Ginny, you said it was your number 2 thing. So obviously warranty is significant to both of you. Now we're not going to spend too much time here because, you don't know about the products. And again, you haven't selected a product. So it's really, kind of pointless for me to go into detail on the warranties. All I can tell you is that the warranties are individual to the manufacturer. So you have, and there's kind of twofold approach here, is you have a manufacturer warranty on any product that you would choose from us. But you also, which we'll look at next, have a warranty from the company that goes with the product. So it stands behind the work that we do, both craftsmanship and components. And it is going to stay with you for as long as that window is in the wall, or for as long as all of your windows that we've replaced are in the house. So the Marvin warranty, just real quick, is 20 years on glass and seal failure included, 10 years on all non-glass components, excuse me, and it's 2 years on labor and installation. That's from Marvin. Even though Marvin isn't putting in the windows, they're very comfortable with the contractors that they allow install their products. So they actually provide a 2-year labor and installation warranty. Sunrise, just being honest with you, is probably by far the most robust warranty we have. It's going to cover everything from sashes to hardware to glass breakage for the lifetime of the product. So, and again, this is where you have to be careful because some other warranties and most other warranties that you're going to hear about, they say lifetime. They may even say double or triple lifetime, which probably should cause you to scratch your head a little bit. That lifetime is determined to be 5 years, 7 years, whatever the fine print says. So you're really not getting a lifetime warranty. You're getting, okay, this product should last you 5 years. You got a lifetime warranty. After 5 years, that warranty is void. There is no warranty. So when Sunrise is talking about lifetime, it's significant to note for you to understand that the warranty, the lifetime that they reference here, is for as long as the window is in the wall. Okay, that's a significant differentiator as compared to most vinyl window warranties. And certainly as you go to the cheaper end of the spectrum of vinyl windows, that's where we see that without fail, is your lifetime warranty is somewhere between 5 and 7 years. Which, to connect the dots, is how you get a double and triple lifetime warranty. Guess what? Lucky you, on a double lifetime warranty, you get 10 years. If you're super lucky, you get a triple lifetime warranty, you're talking about 20 years. Here in the case of Sunrise, lifetime means for as long as the window is in the wall. And then Vistamark has a similar warranty. You got a lifetime warranty on the glass and the frame. There is no glass breakage. And you get a 15-year warranty on all parts, hardware, all that. So those are the 3 warranties. Again, just to touch on it, not to go overboard. But as far as the products we offer, those are the warranties that apply in each case. Now I mentioned the Southwest Exteriors warranty, which is our in-house warranty. That's covered, or that is covering craftsmanship and components for whatever product we install on your home. And it's covering anything and everything that we use to accomplish a successful installation. So we can only give this warranty because we use the best products. We use the best installation materials, meaning caulking, nailing, any kind of fasteners, any kind of foam. All of that stuff is generally a 50 or 60 year rated product. It's not the Home Depot special $1 a tube caulk. It's not the cheapest foam, that's going to get brittle and cause the window to crack because it's so rigid. So we use high quality products, installation materials, and we use the best installers we can get our hands on in all of South Texas. Because of that, we can give you the best warranty that any company offers in this industry. So now, let me ask, because warranty was, two of those, it was on both of y'all's top 3 lists. Do you feel like with the company warranty, the individual window manufacturer warranty and the company warranty that's provided through through Southwest Exteriors, the Best by Southwest warranty, do you feel that fully and completely 100% protects any investment you would make with Southwest Exteriors? So get your answer there. Have any dialogue that needs to be had? So now what we're going to do real quickly is just take a look at, the cost of windows. That's usually one of the questions that are most significant to people, of course, is what the heck is all this going to cost? So we start out, and again, we don't want to make stuff up. We don't want to mislead people. So we start by going right to the professionals when it comes to telling homeowners what product and projects should cost. So we use that resource that we talked about earlier with the Top 500 Remodeling Magazine. And Remodeling Magazine is so reliable that Consumer Reports and Money Magazine use the information that's put out in Remodeling Magazine to give their readers accurate information. And as you can see here, the picture in the middle, that's the cost versus value report from 2020. So this is updated, real life, real-time information that we're using. Now, in the information gathering that they did through permitting agencies, through homeowners, through manufacturers, window manufacturers themselves, and consumers, what they've gathered is that the national average cost per window is $1,866. So that means if we're talking about 10 windows, that 10 window project, according to this national publication, should be about $18,600. Excuse me. Now there are some, that's a national average, keep in mind. So there are some elevated markets in there: LA, Boston, New York, Chicago, some of those other areas that have, inflated prices, especially as compared to us. But just as a national average, that's what they say your projects should cost. So what that's meant to do is really say, okay, well, I'm looking to do this project, and I was given a quote for 10 windows for $4,000 when this reliable publication tells me it should cost $18,600. Something's wrong, right? There's no way, if this reliable publication tells me my average cost nationally should be about $18,000 for a 10 window project, and I'm quoted $4,000, something might be off. Or I may not be getting really what I hope to get, And likewise, it's meant to say, okay, if I'm getting a quote on 10 windows for $30,000, something should, there should be some questions that follow that as to understand why is that so high as compared to the national average. So that's really why we put this in here, is to give homeowners a good basis of comparison to say, okay, if I'm paying way less than that, something's wrong. And if I'm paying way more than that, something might be wrong just as equally. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is look at ROI. I told you about that. And here's where I get out my Apple Pencil again and I start circling stuff and marking stuff up. So if you were to go to costversusvalue.com, it's a great resource for homeowners getting all kinds of home improvement projects accomplished. It gives you some really, really valuable information to help you understand not only what the project should cost, but more importantly, what should be your recouped cost. They refer to that as cost versus value, the CVV. A lot of other places commonly refer to it as ROI. But here in Texas, and even further drilled down to South Texas, this is the information from 2020 report. So they say in South Texas, for an average 10 window job, 3 foot by 5 foot windows, if you were looking at a wood window, your average cost per window is about $21.49. So that's a little bit higher than the national average, but again, it's for a wood window. The recoup cost that they say, or the cost versus value, is 68.9%. Same project, 10 windows, 3 foot by 5 foot vinyl in South Texas. They say your national average cost per window is $17.64. But look at the recouped cost, or the cost versus value. It goes up to 72.3%. So that's just some information to help you gauge, again, more specifically, not nationally, but more region specific, what your project should cost. So is there any questions at all on any of that information? So again, a little check-in. So just the last little bit of information we'll look at as far as ROI to help you understand that better. Everybody expects energy savings when they replace their windows, right? It's a way to mitigate, energy increases, kilowatts used per hour. That's not the same as it was 5 years ago. It's significantly quite a bit higher. So not only saving energy as it is, but it's offsetting, replacing your windows helps you offset the cost of energy increasing. And it also backs up, what average Angie's List, what they say the average recoup cost is 70%, which ties in nicely with what this cost versus value report tells us is 72.3% for a vinyl window replaced. But a lot of people, when they're thinking about ROI, don't think about the beauty that windows add to the home. A lot of people say, that the door is kind of the mouth and the windows are the eyes of the home. And those are generally two of the first things we pick out when we meet somebody new. We look at their eyes and we look at their mouth to gauge, our perception of them. There's Harvard studies that have been done on that. So really it does, the beauty done well. Again, what I told you about how I get excited about, coming in with homeowners and really truly designing something different than what they have now. It transforms the look of the house entirely and really does make them happy that they have actually made a change. It's not just a new window with the same design as the old one. And then of course there's time and money savings from lack of maintenance. There's temperature equilibrium. So people with 2-story homes, we hear all the time, the upstairs is like an oven, the downstairs is like a refrigerator. On more sprawling ranch style homes that are single story, they say, man, the left side of the house is cool because that's the east side. The west side of the house is like an oven because that's where the sun sets. So replacing your windows allows you to restore a little bit more temperature equilibrium that you otherwise would not have. And then, of course, home improvement done right the first time. You don't have to do this 2 or 3 times because we're using a low quality window or trying to just give you something cheap so you can be happy with the price tag, only to suffer the consequences of that later by having to do it again. So all those things really, what we're trying to do is broaden your understanding and your appreciation of return on investment. And all of those things are things that people don't commonly think of when they consider ROI. So any questions on that? Anything I need to clarify or any questions that you have on any of that information? So you do your little check-in and then we talk about products. So folks, as we mentioned, we do have 3 distinct and different product lines. So here's what we talked about the other day. I think it was last Thursday, right? And I don't think I'm going to do this with you because we've already done it. But this is the point where by now you should have a sense of what can and can't be done, right? If you walk up to the house and you notice these big, monstrous double hung windows, and through your discovery, when the inspection, when you had them take you to the worst window, if they have shutters where we need to match up the check rails and it's a big old tall window, that's what you're going to see most commonly as being the problem with Marvin. Or it's not matching the shutters, it's just they don't want a bar in the middle of their window, but they want double hung for cleaning functionality. Well, guess what? Our Marvin's off the table. If they've told you they only want double hung, they don't want to consider single hung because they want that cleanability, functionality for cleaning, then guess what? Vistamark's off the table. because they're only single hung. So this is where we have a little bit of that conversation. As we talked about on Thursday, if there's no indicators of what we can and can't do, then guess what? We're full speed ahead. Well, here's the Marvin. Here's our favorite things about Marvin. Here's the Sunrise. Here's our 5 favorite things about Sunrise. Here's the Vistamark. Here's our 5 favorite things about Vistamark. Right? But if we know that, okay, because of this, that, and the other thing, it's Sunrise, or because they said they only want single hung, then we know we're dealing with Sunrise or Vistamark. If they say, man, I want the most economical option and I want a single hung, well, we know we got Vistamark for them. So that's where we're going to say, Marvin it's a tremendous company, a tremendous integrity, phenomenal reputation in the community. But unfortunately, you said you wanted single hung and you wanted the most economical window we offer. We can do a single hung with Marvin, but I can tell you it's going to be, probably 30% more than the Marvin. If you still want to entertain it for its, the frame material difference, the fiberglass material difference, then I'd love for you to still consider that. But I want you to be aware, based on what you told me was most important to you, I want you to be aware of what Marvin is, so we don't, waste time talking about something you're not going to be interested in. So again, you're trying to throw out little lines to see if they grab on it, right? If you say material difference and they say, oh, wait a minute, yeah, that's material is much different than the other ones. Well, yeah, the Marvin they pioneered the fiberglass market. They make Ultrex fiberglass, which is hands down it's the most strong, most durable material that exists in the window industry today. Then Marvin's still in the game, So you see where I'm kind of going with that. We can role play it more, but here's an introduction to all 3. We're either presenting the benefits of all 3, or we're giving the top 2 on Marvin, on Sunrise, on Vistamark, and explaining why certain ones won't work based on what they've wanted. So that's what we're doing here on this slide. Then we move into the detailed product slides. And literally all I'm doing on these is giving the highlights of Marvin. If we have no clue what window they're going to choose because we haven't seen any indicators of why we can't use one or the other, we're doing these slides to a T. We're equally excited about Marvin as we are Sunrise, as we are Vistamark, right? Because we're not pointing them to one direction or the other if the situation doesn't warrant it, meaning any installation capability or restrictions or anything that they've said through our inspection and our design and dissatisfaction, anything that they may have said that has triggered us towards one window over another. Making that make sense? So that is what we're doing here is, again, if we don't know, then we're all in. We're all in Marvin. We got some really cool stuff to talk about with Marvin here. Then we're all in on Sunrise. Again, more of a company story. Here's the product story. And we go through each one of these, okay? What that looks like is, so folks here with the Sunrise, you're just reading this information. The U factor, I start up in the corner in the left. The U factor on the Sunrise is lower than other windows in this industry that cost sometimes twice as much. So here you can see a U factor rating of 0.29 with Sunrise, and then I draw a line with my Apple Pencil. Every single window that they're showing to the left here that has a worse rating for the U factor than Sunrise, every single one of those 4 windows is, in some cases, double the price of the Sunrise window. Then I'll talk about R factor. R factor, every piece of building material that was used here in the construction of your home has generally an R factor rating to it. Here we're looking for the higher the better. So here at Sunrise with the insulated window, the R factor is 7.14. You can see some of those other windows to the left that have significantly less R factor rating, which means they're significantly less energy efficient as compared to the Sunrise window at 7.14. Your builder grade aluminum windows right now, the R factor on those is less than 0.10. So that's significantly, what is that? 700? Yeah, I think, what is it? It's either 70 or 700 times less efficient than the Sunrise window in terms of R factor. Then we go up to air infiltration rating. So air infiltration rating, like I mentioned, it's in the synopsis of the company. See that second bullet? So right below, founded in 94 by Gary Delman, who was the owner of Great Lakes Windows. Sunrise quickly developed a reputation for one of, and now the lowest air infiltration rating in the industry. So we talk about that. You can see there's Sunrise double hung. The air infiltration rating is 0.02. So some of my scribbles are still in there. I forgot to clear out, but the Sunrise, or excuse me, the Vistamark window is about 0.15. The Marvin window is about 0.25 in terms of the air infiltration rating. So if you're saying energy efficiency, keeping dust out, keeping cedar pollen out, all those things that you don't want coming into your home, then Sunrise is a great option, because it is it is hands down the most tightly made window in the window industry. And again, air infiltration is not measuring glass. It's measuring the air that's coming around, through, above, and below the frame. So it's really a measure on how well the window was fabricated. And as you can see, all those windows to the left again, all are more expensive than the Sunrise double hung. So in terms of a value proposition, Sunrise does a phenomenal job in making a very high performing, long lasting product at a significant value price point. Last thing we talk about is sound transmission down there on the lower right. So you can see the Sunrise dual pane glass is a 0.28, which is still better than other high performance windows at a 26. If we went to a special energy glass, which is called noise reduction glass, it's just an acronym, that decibel rating jumps up to 33. So it even improves without you having to go to the cost of tempered glass. Some nice features and functions of the Sunrise window is that it does offer the solar clean exterior surface on the glass. So I personally had to replace a window in my house that broke from hail, and I used the Sunrise window, and it had solar clean on the exterior. It's been in for probably 4 or 5 months. It's gone through some significant rain and snow that we just got a couple weeks ago, actually. And I can tell you there's not a single water spot on the outside surface of that glass. It's pretty remarkable. So I can firsthand tell you that it works, and I hear a lot of clients that love it because it's actuated by the UV light, the sun, and it's a mixture of titanium dioxide and silicon dioxide that allows the water to shed off the glass, kind of like using Rain-X. But it's applied at the factory, and it's going to prevent your windows from water spotting, which is significant based on the hard water that we have in here in San Antonio. Another nice feature of the Sunrise is that it has an OptiView screen. So it's a thin mesh screen that's set on a smaller profile, so it's not as visible as your standard screens. So that means more sunlight coming into the house for you and less obscurity as you're looking out. So those are some of the benefits of the Sunrise window. Then we talk about air infiltration and tell people, hey, air infiltration is a funny thing. You'll be hard pressed to find anybody from any window company that can talk to you, unless they've done their homework, that can talk to you about what the air infiltration rating on their window is, because most window companies don't talk about it because it's really not all that great. They talk about the energy efficiency in the glass. That's standard, window industry speak, but nobody talks about the air infiltration rating on their windows. So Sunrise, being that that's one of their claims, to what makes them so great, what we want to try to do is frame that up for you so you have a better understanding and a perception of what that really means. So let's take an 1,800 square foot home. We have 12 to 15 windows in it. And we have windows, prevailing winds outside, at about 24 miles per hour. So what this is registering is how many times every square foot of air in the home is being exchanged. So an aluminum window like you have right now, builder grade aluminum window, your air infiltration rating is 0.7. Okay. What that means for you in terms of air exchange in your home is that air is being exchanged 21 times per day with that window rating at 0.7 on the air infiltration rating. You can see it goes down to 9 times per day at a window with a 0.3 in air infiltration rating, and so on and so forth. 7.2 times per day at a window with a 0.195 air infiltration rating. But look at Sunrise all the way down here at the bottom. At a 0.02 air infiltration rating, that air is being exchanged less than 1/2 time per day. That's crazy. As compared to what you have now with the builder grade aluminum at 0.7, where that air inside your home is being exchanged 21 times per day. Just remarkable, remarkable difference. So any questions about that, or again, what that might mean to you in terms of, having that energy efficiency being introduced into your home? So do a little check-in, then we go on to Vistamark. So again, Vistamark, what people love about them is it's made locally. It's made by Texas for Texas. We can do 6 colors that are predominant colors that we see here in South Texas. It is made specifically for the type of window configurations we see here. So Texas has larger, more oddly shaped windows than anybody else in the country. Vistamark is handpicked and has been specifically designed to accommodate all of those windows, shapes, sizes, and colors that we specifically have here in South Texas. And it's made locally, like I said, we're right up 35, right on in Waxahachie. So a couple hours from us is where this window comes from. So being that it's local, we have a phenomenal relationship with them, and they allow us to service our clients to an exceptional degree, because guess what? If we need a part or a piece or a component, that's going to be down here tomorrow. We don't have to wait for it to be shipped from Minnesota or from Michigan. Our rep can be down here tomorrow with whatever we need, which is an awesome level of service that we're able to pass on to our clients. It's also, out of all 3 windows, the Vistamark window is the only window that carries a light commercial rating. So if that's important to you, if that's something that grabs your attention, I've been able to use this window on multifamily projects downtown, and in like a church, and one was a building complex, because they needed a window that was light commercially rated based on how the property was zoned. So Vistamark, they make a very simple window, which allows for it to be at a great price point, but they make simple exceptionally well, exceptionally strong, and exceptionally durable. So that's a little bit of the deal with Vistamark. Then we talk about Cardinal Glass. So let me ask you folks, this is an important question. Out of all the windows that you may have received quotes on, have any of those mentioned Cardinal Glass? Generally, they're going to say, nope, or I don't remember, I don't think so, it doesn't sound familiar. Oh yeah, Renewal by Andersen mentioned Cardinal Glass. That's usually what we get if they've had Renewal by Andersen out. So what we're going to talk to them about is, folks, I mean, here's just the brutal honesty of things, is if you are being quoted a window that does not have Cardinal Glass, I can tell you 2 things, as sure as we're sitting here together. One, that window is going to be significantly cheaper than what I'm going to quote you, because Cardinal Glass is hands down the worldwide leader in residential glass technology. So obviously, if you have a glass that's being made by the window manufacturer, as opposed to relying on the experts in the glass industry, it's going to be significantly less than Cardinal Glass. The second thing I can promise you is that your window is not going to last as long or perform as high, as efficiently for as long a period of time as a window that you would use with cardinal glass, which means, you're going to start probably having to think about your next window replacement somewhere between 5 and 8 years from now, after you've already replaced your windows, if the company you choose is not using cardinal glass. And if, it stands to reason, if the company didn't mention cardinal glass, either they're extremely exceptionally lazy, or they don't have cardinal glass. I mean, would you agree that one of those two things is probably happening if you have not heard cardinal glass being brought up? And in either case, that may or may not point you to whether you want to do business with that type of company. So again, with cardinal glass, there's unmatched experience. They have unmatched resources and unmatched technology as compared to the other glass manufacturers in this country. Today, there's over 500 million insulated glass units under warranty with cardinal glass. That tells you something. So the components that make up cardinal glass and make it such a high-performing, long-lasting solution, especially as compared to its counterparts, is it is a dual seal insulated glass unit. So the primary seal is a butyl seal, which is basically like aircraft adhesive. The secondary seal, as you can see there in the picture, is a silicone seal. So there's two seals working together to make sure that you don't have seal failure in your window. The third thing is an all stainless steel spacer. Stainless steel is more durable. It won't corrode or rust, and it's less conductive than aluminum or some of the other materials that people use on a cheaper insulated glass unit. The fourth thing that we see there in the visual there is desiccant. So desiccant, like if you buy a nice pair of shoes or leather jacket or any kind of like camera or, expensive electronic equipment, it's generally going to have little packets of this desiccant in there that says do not eat, right? You see that in there? Its purpose is to absorb any vapor that could have gotten into that space and could cause problems inside the window. So that those beads of desiccant absorb any vapor that could potentially pass through in condensation or whatever, and make sure that it doesn't present itself in worse ways inside the window. They're the only window manufacturer that does that. So again, if you haven't heard about cardinal glass, or if a company has not told you about that, then you need to have realistic expectations about what you're really getting and what you're paying for, because I can guarantee you it will not last as long as cardinal glass. And here's a little graph to help represent that. So in the top here, you have installation day all the way to the left. You can see the horizontal axis is years post-installation, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. What you see on that ascending graph line is that that's showing the seal failure rate of other windows in the industry as compared to the current cardinal glass technology. So what that's telling us is over 20 years post-installation, the current cardinal glass technology has less than a 0.2% seal failure occurrence. All other windows, you see significantly more, over 8% is the seal failure rate that they experience. So it's a significant difference in terms of the occurrence of seal failure rate. The two things below are just links. So if you click on either one of these are hyperlinks. I'm not going to do it because it threw off my screen share and recording when I did it earlier. But these two links will take you to really good videos. One describing the cardinal glass process, similar to the links I shared with you all last week. And then the second one is talking about kind of the best of both worlds, as you get the visibility with the UV protection and the natural light still being allowed to come through. So it just talks about the benefits of low E366 glass how you get all the energy efficiency, but still get the natural light coming through that you actually want. And that's what that video describes. So then we go on to, again, if they've found out which window they want by now, then we just go to whatever window, right? If they haven't, and they're still in that deciding period and they're still looking to gather more information on which to base their decision, then we go through these slides. And again, we're just reading here. Marvin Signature Ultimate wood clad frame with beautiful wood interior. You know, our Ultimate is our designer window. And as you can see, this is real life price conditioning. The details right below the picture. So with the Marvin Ultimate, again, it is our designer window. 10 windows there is going to be as low as $21,145 or $321 a month on a, you know, a popular monthly payment option. If they ask, here's the fine print of what that is all about. Where's my cursor? I don't know where my cursor went, but you can see it's based on a 3-foot, 5-foot single color standard window with our currently monthly promotion on a 7-year, 6.99% monthly payment option. And then we do the same thing with Essentials. You know, when it comes to Marvin, this is the one we do more of, just because it still has all the quality and durability and integrity, but it's a less designer focused window. It doesn't have 33 exterior color options and 16 different interior wood species that you can choose from. It's a little bit more narrowed, you know, on the production scale. 10 windows as low as $16,155 or $294 a month on a popular monthly payment option. So again, we want to get the price conditioning. If they know what window they want, then just go directly to that slide and do that slide for them. If they're still in that deciding period, do every one of these slides the way the way I did that first one. And then we get to Sunrise, blah, 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 blah. 10 windows as low as $11,854 or $182 per month. So you'll see their brains start to do immediately, you know, they go into mental math mode because they're trying to figure out, okay, 10 windows, I got some real pricing. So I tell folks in most every case, with the exception of maybe the Ultimate, we're below, but this again is a wood interior. So really we're right in line with what the cost versus value report says. Cause it's regional average for wood window, I think was like $21.49 per window. So we're right in line there. This is a fiberglass window. So it's, you know, its regional average for vinyl, it said was $17.42. So even with our fiberglass option, we're still below the average at about $1,600 per window. Here with your Sunrise, we're well below the regional average of $1,700 for a vinyl window. We're at about $1,185 per window. So in either case, we're still quite a bit below what the cost versus value report says a window should cost in South Texas. Okay, so we present all of those. We go to the Vistamart. If we have the selection, so let me ask you, guess what? This is our commitment to resolution, by the way. We need to ask. So let me ask you, based on the product that we've seen, based on all that we've talked about as far as what you're looking for specifically in your window replacement, do you believe that the Marvin, do you believe that the Sunrise, do you believe that the Vistamark is the product that you would want to install in your home? Do you believe it's going to meet every expectation that you have for what you want to accomplish in doing a project like this? So we get our commitment to solution or resolution. And then, all we have left here, and again, if it's Sunrise, do your Sunrise slide, then ask your commitment to resolution. If it's Marvin, do the Marvin slide, ask your commitment to resolution. Because here on this slide, we already did our introduction to the three. So we don't need to do it again, especially if we know that they're using Sunrise or if we know that they're using Vistamark. We introduced Marvin, we said the top two. We introduced Sunrise, we said the top two. Now here's the one we landed on based on what you've shared with me is most important to you about the project. Here's Vistamark and why we've landed on that for you. Then we go into Vistamark mode, and our commitment question is going to come after the Vistamark slide. Does that make sense? So you can kind of tailor this. A lot of this information would be tailored to what the client tells you is important to them. So that's really it. And then we got some beautiful, after pictures. And notice that they're specific to the window collection. So these were all ultimates. These are all your essentials. These are all your sunrise. And these are all your Vistamarks. And again, in these before and afters, I tried to include, like the benefit of each window, right? With sizes, shapes, weird stuff, right? These are all Texas homes that have all these funky windows. So that's really it for your benefit. This is really where you end, right? Hold up. Right, we're done. That's what this means. And then what you want to do. So let me ask you, Jeannie, Chris, was that helpful? Did that help? Did that help you understand some things that maybe you flat out hadn't heard or were unclear of? So you want to shut down the presentation with that. Hey, did I do what I told you I set out to do? Is to give you some good information to help you make this decision. Was that helpful? Was that worth your time? Right? So it kind of buttons the whole process up of doing what you told them it was you were going to do for them, which is provide them with some good information and education to help them make their decision, which, every time they're going to say, oh yeah, absolutely. No, I really appreciate that. You're very thorough. You went into much more information than any other company has gone into information with me. So I really appreciate the time and effort. You're going to get something along those lines. But I did include, I don't know where my cursor went. It's like hiding somewhere. I did include a whole bunch of reference slides after the presentation ends. So sunrise colors, interior colors, grills, glass options, exterior trim. Here's the full frame that we were talking about with the Madeira. I have Vistamark colors, Marvin exterior colors, Marvin interior colors, Marvin grills. I mean, it's right there for you. Grill patterns, doors from Marvin, screens from Marvin, hardware. So there's all kinds of junk in here that's just reference for you. So if your client asks a question, you don't have to go fumbling through it. It's kind of like a FAQ, what kind of hardware is available on a Marvin door? Well, here you go.
Cool.
Oh, no. Is my cursor back yet? There it is. So I'm going to stop recording. Maybe.
It's not going to let you. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick while you're getting that off. Now that it's on record, thanks.